For the next hour, the green and gold are in charge. Welcome to In the Huddle on the Woodward Radio Network. In the Huddle is brought to you by Mole Lake Casino Lodge and Conference Center. Now, here's Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tanner's and Kimberly. Good to have you along here this evening after the Packers knock off the Giants 38-35, and BJ Raji alongside. We'll bring our guest on in the next segment as well. And BJ, this clearly was the biggest test that you guys had up to this point this season. The Giants, for a team that appeared to be in a little bit of turmoil after 3 losses in a row and a bad loss to the Saints a week earlier, they laid it out there against you guys yesterday.
Definitely. You have to give those guys credit. But I think, ultimately, when you're sitting in the position that we're in, I think that we have the luxury of getting everyone's best shot.
Tell me about the defense that they were playing against you guys compared to, from an offensive standpoint. I mean, they looked like they were, getting some pretty good heat. And I know you're not, watching that side of the ball as much, but they look like they're putting some pretty good heat on.
Yeah, I think they did a good combination of, blitzing at times, bringing 5 and 6 guys. And then, sometimes they would just brought 4. And, you got Tuck, you got Pierre Paul, and those guys, Chris Canty pushing the pocket. Sometimes it can make it difficult for a quarterback even as good as Aaron is. My O-line's been playing well, this season, but, those guys pose a different threat as far as pass rush.
Yeah, flip side of the ball, Ahmad Bradshaw certainly made a difference for them.
Right, definitely. We knew coming in that if Ahmad was going to play, he would add a different dynamic to the game. Brandon obviously ran real hard yesterday, and he made it tough at times for our secondary tacklers and even our linebackers. But Ahmad Bradshaw is ultimately the guy that gives you the most problems.
All right, back and forth. That game went until the final drive.
Right.
In the final drive, it was 4 plays, but it was amazing that just like that, the light bulb goes on, and it looked like a pro team and a high school team out there.
Man, in that situation, I would love to have our quarterback be the guy that's conducting that drive. He made some great plays, and from my vantage point, it looked like it was pretty relatively easy looking. He hit the deep ball to Jordy. Prior to that, I believe he hit Joe Michael on the sideline. Just knocking out big chunks of yardage in a short period of time. And Mason, ice cold Mason at the end gives us the victory.
Yeah, the 4 pass plays on that final drive, 3 of them were for more than 20 yards.
Yes. I think our offense thrives in that situation. I think they've earned the right to be called the most explosive offense in the league, and I think that we're just getting started. Obviously, it's December, I know, but we still can get better.
58 seconds is when the Packers got the ball back, and on the kickoff, and the instructions were to Cobb not to bring the ball out.
Right.
Didn't want to take any of that time up that belonged to Aaron Rodgers.
Right. I think that was a good call right there, because at that particular situation, time is of the essence, and you want to kind of savor every second you can get. And even though Randall's capable of bringing it back like he's shown in previous weeks, I don't think that was a proper time for that, and I think coaches did a good job of making that decision.
When Rodgers goes up and down the field in the 2-minute offense, 1-minute offense in training camp or in practice, does he make it look as easy as it was yesterday?
He does, man. It's one of those things, training camp, your mind's kind of geared toward, going against the first team offense. So, you're in that mode and you're ready to get after them. Obviously not sack them or anything, but, when you get through a season, you've been doing a lot of scout looks. Then when it's time to do good on good, you forget how good Aaron is. He's just able to dissect what we're doing, and at times is making great throws and winning a lot of the 2 minutes against us.
So now you're 12-0. And 18 straight wins.
Yes.
And it's almost like we're trying to find a hard way to describe another win and the streak being extended. I don't want to say it's boring, because it's never boring, But really, you look for ways to talk about it, and it's just same old, same old. You guys are like in a good way, a broken record. It just keeps on rolling.
Yeah, man. I like the when you're having success like that, I mean, it starts at the top, and then you got to give credit to Mark Murphy and Ted, particularly our leader, football-wise, is Coach McCarthy. I think he does a great job of keeping us motivated week in and week out. You know, I don't think he gets a lot of credit that he deserves as far as play calling. You know, I think Aaron is obviously a phenomenal talent, and, you know, we have weapons, you know, that can match up with anyone in the league. But I think McCarthy isolating at times, you see Michael lined up at receiver, you know, the way he uses our talent, I think that's what distinguishes us.
And I think that as you talk about McCarthy, his play calling, it's a lot like Dom Capers on the other side of the ball when we were talking a couple of weeks ago about Charles Woodson and wanting to communicate. I think McCarthy does a lot of that with his quarterback, doesn't he? He
does. I think from what I've told and just what I see, he has a great relationship with Aaron, and I think you know, Aaron has the ability, you know, if he sees some things, I'm sure he's able to go to Coach McCarthy and suggest some things, but ultimately, you know, his coach making the calls, and I mean, he's without a blemish so far.
Nice big story in the paper today on Jordy Nelson, who had 4 catches. He didn't have much early, but in crunch time down the stretch, he had a lot, and in a big piece on him about how he's Pro Bowl worthy.
Oh, without a question. I think, you know, I think it's safe to say that he's a down threat feature receiver. You know what I mean? And I think he's earned that right. And I think he poses a lot of matchup issues. You know, he can take a short pass and break someone down and take it to the house, or he can tightrope the sideline and catch a phenomenal ball and put us in great field position. But I think ultimately Jordy's having a breakout season, and that's tough to say, especially with the great receivers we have.
Yeah, and he's having a breakout season at the same time that the Packers have a phenomenal season, and then coming off of a Super Bowl. Usually that all goes hand in hand. If you win, then the Pro Bowl stuff comes. I mean, you guys should see an influx in the number of players that are actually representing the Pro Bowl. And of course, if it's run, I think it's run the same way last year too, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So if you're in the Super Bowl, you don't actually get to play in the game.
Right. But I think just the honor in itself is, you know, worth that of actually going. I know eventually, I mean, I know it's sad to say, but you're not going to go to the Super Bowl every year. So I mean, guys will eventually get a chance to go to Hawaii. But I think, you know, the ultimate goal is to be in Indianapolis, and so far looks like we're doing a pretty good job of getting to our goal.
This is how big Jennings, 65 receptions. Nelson's got 48, but Nelson just 53 yards behind in the total yardage. So his catches have been big impact catches. We'll continue to talk more about the Packers win yesterday. We'll meet our special guest in the program. That's coming up in 3 minutes as well. More in the Huddle from Tanners and Kimberly after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
To In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we're back at Tanners and Kimberly. Good to have you along. Transportation for our guests brought to you by L&S Classic Limousine Service. Personal professional service for all occasions. Call 800-830-5933 for your reservation. Our guest tonight is in his second NFL season out of the University of Purdue, defensive end Mike Neal. Mike, thanks for coming out. Good to have you on the show.
Appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be here.
You're kind of just starting to get your feet wet in terms of your pro football career. You've had a lot of tough luck.
I wouldn't call it tough luck, but I definitely say that, you know, my road to starting the NFL has been rough, but you know, it's still a blessed one, and being optimistic about everything, and I'm able to get in there and do what I can now. So I'm good.
So how is it? What's it felt like to get, to get back on the field now? You've been there for 3 games.
It's been a bit of a rough path. I think because, a lot of the guys get to go through training camp and experience the preseason games, and my luck is running short on that. I haven't been able to go through the preseason games and get in there and get comfortable and familiar with opponents and stuff like that. But coming in now, I'm kind of in that training camp mode and getting used to it and getting familiar with it. But I think with games and playing I'll be comfortable with playing and stuff like that. So,
BJ, I know you and Mike are real good friends, and I know every time I talk to you about Mike, it was like your best friend, trying to watch your brother almost not be able to do what he loves to do. I mean, it seemed like it hurt you quite a bit too.
Right. To a certain extent, I was able to empathize with him. coming, being a high pick in the draft. He was the second choice. Actually, that year, the first choice, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been the second. But anyway, just coming in having high expectations, for a career, a fan base that's real excited and real into it. And for him to have, being so unfortunate to have the injuries and not have a chance, to really show what he's able to do, I think it was very tough for him. Me knowing that, coming in and rolling my ankle the last preseason game and, not having a chance in the first couple games and kind of having, going halfway through my rookie season injured. So I was able to feel his pain, but he's obviously been hurt a little bit longer than I was. So just for him being able to stick with it mentally and not really faltering, because we both talk about it. He catches a lot of stuff in the media, rightfully so, I believe, and the way he's dealt with it, I think that shows his character as a person.
Yeah, people always want to label a person that can't stay on the field because of injury as somebody that's hurt all the time, that's injury prone. But you have not ever had an issue injury-wise for any length of time, collegiately or anything. It just happened to catch it your first 2 years in the National Football League, and hopefully that's done and gone for good now.
Man, who you telling? I'm tired of the injuries, but like BJ said, you learn your true character if you're able to put things like that past you, and you're able to deal with the media and deal with what other people consider you injury prone and stuff like that. And if you're able to put that behind you and move forward, then it shows a lot of character. And fortunately, I've been able to do that, and now I'm on the field, and hopefully I can stay that way.
You're a big weightlifter at Purdue, weren't you?
Something like that, a little bit.
And this guy's one of the strongest guys I've ever met. He does a great job in the weight room.
Didn't he lift like a house one time?
I've seen him lift a few people. You know what I mean? So I think Mike does a great job. He's dedicated in the weight room, and that's why, going back to our original point, that's why I hate to see him, somebody that works so hard, and he does the right things off the field as well. And for someone to have to catch those bad breaks is pretty unfortunate. But he was able to recover because he's in such good shape that his injury that he sustained, most people don't come back from that, and he was able to come back and help us, give us a lot of snaps actually in a short period of time. So he's to be commended for that.
Yeah, and when you're hurt, you're happy for your teammates, but it's not the same thing. It's like you want to be out there. Now you can see that you've been out there for 3 weeks in a row, and everything is only going to improve each and every week, and you can actually be a part of right now 12-0 as opposed to just watching your teammates do it.
Exactly. It's definitely difficult. I think dealing with last year was probably the most difficult thing I ever had to do in my life, was be able to sit back and enjoy, what my teammates had, the success that they had, the Super Bowl that they won, and part of you feels like, okay, I'm part of this team, but another part of it actually makes you feel like, what did I do to deserve to win a Super Bowl? And I haven't contributed at all. And to be able to come in this year and the run that we had is amazing. Me and BJ was talking about it on the way here. To be 12-0 in the National Football League is a hard thing to come by. And we're able to do it, and we're doing and be part of this team. And to be able to contribute to a team like that is definitely one of the things that you will mark as a highlight in your life.
We talked about the weightlifting very briefly, but how does that change from college now in the National Football League? The approach much different?
Not really. I think in college you go through and you bang yourself up in the weight room and you're not understanding why you're doing it. They tell you need to be bigger, stronger, faster, and you're going there with the mentality that I got to be able to lift the world to be able to play football. But when you get in the National Football League, there's guys that's probably not as powerful as you, probably not as strong as you, but technically they're probably a lot better than you. And if you don't know how to convert what you do in the weight room over to the football field, and those numbers mean absolutely nothing. So being able to use what I have and be able to, to use the explosion in my hips and stuff like that, and be able to use the bench press and stuff like that, and gain leverage and use those weight room numbers has definitely been helping me out a lot, actually. So.
Yeah, BJ, I would imagine similar to knowing an offense or knowing a defense, when you cram in the playbook, you memorize the play, but if you don't understand why the purpose for the play, then it really doesn't do you a lot of good. When you understand the purpose for the way the play is being run, that's when it sinks in, right?
Yeah, and more specifically, with now this being my third year in the system, it's good to know, play what people are doing around you, because, for instance, if I'm in the 3 technique and I understand what Bishop behind me has to do, then I understand why I'm doing it, like you said, and also I know what can hurt me. If Bishop is supposed to have the A-gap, I know I can kind of play a little bit loose in the 3 technique, because the only thing that can really hurt me is a reach block, as opposed to, if they're trying to double team me or scoop me.
Mike, take us through, for a while there, it looked like you were going to be coming back, and then there was a process where it just wasn't feeling better, and so then they took another look at it and realized they had to do another procedure. Take us through that. What happened, and how frustrating was that?
When I first initially hurt myself, when I was laying on the field, they do the test to make sure if all your your ligaments, your collateral ligaments, your MCL, ACL, everything's intact. They did that, and they were like, okay, you're intact. Where are you having your pains at? And I'm just like, I'm having them medially. They was like, okay, well, you could have subluxed your kneecap, which is basically when your knee pops out of place and pops back in. And we thinking, okay, well, maybe in 2.5, 3 weeks you'll be fine. So, I mean, when they looked at it, it was no swelling. I was able to walk on it. Everything was fine. And then, I was nursing it, getting back in. I practiced maybe like 2 or 3 days, and then it was just like, okay, I can't move my knee. Like, it kept feeling like it was getting stuck. Like, if I bend it, it was gonna snap in half. And so they told me, well, the MRIs that we taken, they took 2 MRIs that show absolutely nothing. No signal change, no nothing. And so then after that, we went in and they did another MRI right before the Saints game, and the doctor was like, okay, you have a little signal change in your bone. And he was just like, so, it's your call, do you want to play? And I'm just like, well, if you're a doctor, you know best. So if it's not good for me to play, then I won't play. So he the one that, called over to Mike and told him, okay, well, we're not going to push this. We're just going to let him get a couple days of rest out of this Saints game and see where it's at from there. 4 days off, nothing changed. It was still hurting, still having the same symptoms. He was just like, well, we're to the point now where we need to scope it. So they went in and found out that I actually hit 2 of my bones together and knocked some cartilage off one of the surfaces in my bone, in my knee. And cartilage in your knee don't grow back. And, it was like, okay, well, we can either do another surgery that'll put you out for the year, or we can just hope to God that, honestly, God will heal you and bring you back. I mean, that's seriously what they told me. And so that's what we went with. They went and removed the cartilage. They smoothed the cartilage area out, and I had cartilage that was floating around in my knee. And, I was able to come back, and now I'm able to walk and I'm able to run, so I'm continuing.
Now the rest is history.
Yep.
Now it's time to play some football and get it done. All right, we'll take a break, and we'll come back. We'll continue our conversation with BJ Raji and Mike Neal. Back with more after this from Tanner's on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we are back here. Tanner's in Kimberly on the Woodward Radio Network's brought to you by Mole Lake Casino, Lodge and Conference Center. More than great games and casino action, Mole Lake offers first-class accommodations in their 75-room resort hotel, including family suites and whirlpool suites, along with a fitness center, swimming pool, and full-service conference center. Well, the injury report out today, and Andrew Corliss is out for the season with a significant injury to his knee, and will require surgery in the next couple of weeks. Charles Woodson has a concussion, but they're saying that they'll go through the concussion protocol, but the doctors give him a decent chance to play this week. And who am I forgetting? Oh, the Starks has got the sprained ankle, and they say that he might even be a stretch to play this Sunday. Now, in his place, though, Brandon Sain's been doing a pretty nice job filling in, isn't he?
Yes, I think so. Saying he's one of those guys that he can rise to the occasion. I think his speed is what separates him. Especially being in a backup role. We're able to do a lot of things with him flaring out, getting the ball quick from Aaron and turning it upfield, getting some yardage, and just being a home run threat. Pretty much every time he gets the ball.
Now I thought you used a tremendous thinking on your part when you picked up that football and acted like you didn't know what was going on. And you were just waiting. Yeah, you were just waiting for everybody to let their guard down, and you were going to go for touchdown number 3 in your career, weren't you?
No, man. You know what it was? I was pass rushing. Clay came around the edge like a madman and hit the quarterback and almost killed him and knocked the ball 20 yards forward. So I'm thinking in my head like, this is incomplete, but Mike could attest to this. We're always coached to, if you see a ball laying on the ground, to go pick it up. So I just saw it laying there. And I approached the ball like, not thinking like it was any sense of urgency. Everyone was just standing around. So I grabbed it and was just like waiting to hear a whistle. Then I hear the crowd just start making like obscene noises and stuff like that. So the next thing I know, some lineman was like tackle me and try to take the ball away. I quickly grabbed the ball and then that was it.
Did you get a couple of yards, or were you running east and west at the time?
At that situation, I don't think I got any yards, because my positioning, I was like facing the sideline, and that's just how.
It's all right though. Packers football, right?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Absolutely. You just continue to pad those big number stats. I mean, those are the kind of numbers, BJ. Trust me, those are the kinds of numbers that when your agent is looking to renegotiate your contract, those are the things that he's going to post up there at the top of the page and say, look what my man does for you.
I would hope not. If he's bringing that up in the negotiations, I need a new agent.
Clay Matthews becoming the 5th defensive player to score a touchdown this season. Woodson, Pepra, Tremont Williams, and BJ Raji.
Yeah, Clay, it's one of those things that I was just happy to see him, get rewarded. Now, a lot of the things we do defensively, I think, at times you could argue, some people argue maybe Clay should be rushing a little more, but, we don't question our scheme. I think Clay doesn't question. Clay just does his assignment and tries to do it as hard as he can. So for him to drop back in coverage, a premier pass rusher in this league, to drop back in coverage and play the defense and get a pick six, I think I was happy for him. It was obviously a big play in the game, and it kind of swung the momentum a little bit.
All right, I can't believe I waited this long to say this, but congratulations on the NFC North Division Championship.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
That's clutch. That's clutch.
Just a slip on my part. I didn't do that on purpose.
No, it's fine. I think every team and every coach will attest to this, that when you're coming in and you're preparing for a season, I think your number one goal is to win your division, and I think that that's the most important, because obviously you assure yourself of a home playoff game. We're obviously in a different situation, 12-0, looking to get the number one seed, but I think ultimately our goal was accomplished. Our number one goal was accomplished, and hopefully we can keep winning.
The 12-0 record this year, 13-0 is next. Mike McCarthy asked again today, and once again gave the same answer as he usually does. I don't know what the media is expecting him to say, but and his answers make obviously total sense. You can't start talking about unbeaten records or having them mean anything until you take care of your next goal, which is home field. Once you have home field wrapped up, there's no real goal until you get into the postseason, and technically the Super Bowl would be your next goal. So, once you have that goal wrapped up, then the next thing is to, start at least talking about a perfect season. And you know what? I get the sense that that you guys would love to have a perfect season, and I don't know too many players that really want to be rested when something like that is up for grabs.
I agree. I think, you have to, obviously I'm not the head coach, but I'm sure, logically you would have to think, you want to go for the 16-0, because obviously with, if you're in the first and second seed in the playoffs, you get a first round bye anyway. So my belief is there's no need to rest somebody week 15 and 16 possibly, and then rest them the first round of the playoffs, because obviously we'll have a bye. So I think that the smart thing to do would be to play us throughout all 16 regular season games, and then we'll get that week off, the bye week, and then we'll start preparing for our next opponent.
Aaron Rodgers, 4 more touchdowns, 1 pick yesterday, 37-5 are now the numbers for Aaron Rodgers.
That's amazing. Amazing.
He's incredible quarterback.
How'd you like Randall Cobb's end-around pass?
I liked it. Just a different, one of the things like knowing playing defense and having to, scheme against all these different offenses, like, just the fact that we've put that on film, now other teams are going to have to at least devote some time to stopping that. And, Randall has the ability to run, so who knows? It could be a reverse off that when he's just running. And I think ultimately I like the creativity, and just too bad we couldn't complete it.
Yeah, he didn't, Mike. He didn't stop and plant. He threw on the run and had some pretty good mustard on that throw.
You ought to see him. The kid got an arm. I didn't know he can throw like that until we came in training camp, and they actually did a flash or something like that, and he came around and he threw a bullet to Jordy one time in practice. I was like, Jesus Christ, and I never knew he was a quarterback, so I was like, I was like, man, but he can float. He can float up there, man. He got a good ball on him.
Yeah, I hope our delay was on. Yeah, I thought that many times myself. Around the division, the Bears lost Matt Forte yesterday with a sprained MCL. Looks like he'll miss 3 to 4 weeks. Jay Cutler already out. The Bears are in trouble. And what's the latest rumor, BJ?
This old man who used to play here, I think, is talking about coming back.
This old man.
You want him to come back, don't you?
I definitely want him to come back. You know, I played against him a few times. I got some nice hits on him, but, you know, I kind of want to get a good hit in a frozen tundra. Done the irony setting in, me just driving them into the frozen tundra. That's just me, though. You know, ultimately, I don't feel bad for the Bears. You know, I hope they lose every game remaining that's left. You know, and I don't wish him well at all.
No, I wouldn't either.
Right.
In fact, I'd be quite disappointed if you came up on the stage and said you would.
No, if they didn't make the playoffs, I wouldn't be sad. You know, if Favre came back and they lost every game, I'd be pretty happy, you know. And ultimately, when they come here on Christmas, hopefully we can thrash them like we should.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling you will, especially if they have Caleb Haney still at quarterback.
Yeah, hopefully he can throw me another pick six like he did last year.
You gonna do the Raji?
Of course, man. Nah, but no, just joking around. But seriously, the Bears, like yesterday, we were talking up here. You know, if not for that Hail Mary, that game's probably going on overtime. So defensively, those guys haven't changed much. You know, they play great defense. It's just tough. You know, you get a season where Jay Cutler is playing maybe one of his better seasons of his career. And it's unfortunate for them that, you know, he gets hurt and he's done for the regular season. I'm not sure how long that's going to be. But ultimately, that's their problem.
Yeah. They have to play your buddy this week, too.
Who's my buddy?
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow. Lord have mercy.
Tim's not gonna lose.
You know, deservedly so. This guy gets a lot of publicity. He's winning games, and, you know, I know more than anybody, winning is all that matters. So, you know, hats off to Tebow.
All right, just kidding on that, but
I know.
all right, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back. Our email segment sponsored by Granite Peak Ski Area. That's coming up next. Back with more in the Huddle from Tanners and Kimberly on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we are back at Tanners and Kimberly as we continue here. We'd like to welcome Packer fans listening across the state on the Woodward Radio Network and Adams Friendship tonight on WDKM in Clintonville, WJMQ, over in La Crosse and WFBZ, and Marshfield and WDLB, up in Tomahawk and WJJQ, and over in Wapaka on WDUX. Granite Peak Ski Area is gearing up for an incredible season. Snowmaking's in full force this week. With the holidays coming, give the gift of winter. Granite Peak Ski gift cards, making the perfect gift, a gift that keeps on giving. Visit skigranitepeak.com for a complete list of hours, prices, and packages. Now filling in for Justin Ho this week on our email segment is Phil the Show Killer Rothman.
Thanks, Bill.
Phil, how you doing, buddy?
Not bad. InTheHuddleShow.com is where you can go to submit each question. The first one is from Alex in Green Bay. Did the BCS get it right, Alabama, LSU?
It depends how you look at it, I think. I think ultimately, my feeling is, you know, LSU obviously played Alabama. Alabama had a home game against LSU. You know, why should they get a second opportunity when, you know, some teams don't get one? And I think Oklahoma State did what they needed to do. I think they pretty much blasted Oklahoma, and I think that was enough to kind of get them over the hump. But if you're one of those people that say the two best teams are playing in this game, then I can't argue with you.
I'm going to let BJ do all the talking because there's no way that I can overtalk him when he comes to this college football thing. So if you ask another college football question, BJ probably going to make a perfect analyst one day. I'm telling you.
All right, we'll go to our next question. This is from Chris and Madison. You guys are such good friends. BJ, do you know anything about Mike that if you told us would surprise us, maybe a hidden talent or something? You have no talents, Mike?
The only talent I seem to have with them is that I drink a lot of GNC protein shakes, and I'm going bald at a young age. But that's about it.
Aren't we all?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, actually. I'm doing well. Mike, is there anything about BJ, though, that we'd be surprised to find out?
Let me see, BJ. No, I don't think I can think of nothing funny enough. Nah, I can't give you one, man. Dang. I'm dry right now. I can't think of one.
All right, we'll go to our next question.
Great questions, Phil.
Thank you. All right, of the defensive linemen, this comes from Shayna and Little Shoot. Who's the best dressed? Who's the best fashion sense?
No, you know.
BJ. Well, you know what? No.
I have to pick, man.
Ryan Pickett.
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 Yeah, man. He's just like a little big pimp. He comes in pretty smooth. Man.
You got
some attire that I've never seen before.
He's like a mix of
like got a catalog.
Old school Brian McKnight, like Ruben Studdard.
They have a top hat.
Really?
Yeah, like pretty stylish, man. You'd be surprised.
Except for his beard, he don't never shave it.
Who's the worst dressed then?
The worst?
CJ.
Oh, CJ Wilson by far. CJ Wilson.
CJ probably will wear the same
That didn't take any time at all to get that baby out, huh?
No. It's just, what's right is right. He doesn't dress right at all.
And CJ's wrong.
Do we have time for one more?
Well, we got plenty of time.
All right. This comes from Dave in Appleton. If you have a chance to hit any quarterback in the league now or retired, you could get a chance to hit any quarterback, who would it be?
Me? Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler?
Yeah.
Mike, what about you?
Hands down, Peyton Manning. I absolutely.
Oh, sure. Hit a guy when he's down.
I don't care. Hey, I've been down for 2 years. I don't care if he's down. Whatever.
I feel that.
All right, we'll go to our next one. This is from Ben in Oshkosh. BJ, how's your brother's basketball career going, and what's the latest on that?
He's doing well. He's out in Luxembourg. It's by Germany. He's doing well, putting up big numbers, and now he's getting interest from a big-time league in France. So, I guess his next journey will be to step out into that league, improve, where a lot more scouts will be present and showcase his ability, and I think it's looking well for him.
All right, this one comes from Kelly and Kimberly. Christmas tree-wise, do you guys have real or artificial ones in your house?
I got artificial, blue,
artificial,
silver.
Just something
My
small.
Mom put it up.
Something like a small Christmas tree I got. I don't know what Mike has.
She got a timer on it, so every night when I'm asleep at about 11 o'clock, this thing just bright as all. I don't know. It's pretty.
Maybe she
cool.
doesn't she have that backwards? They're supposed to be bright when you're up, and then they're supposed to turn off when you go to bed.
She has a timer on it, and
Are you questioning his mother, Bill?
Yes, I guess I am.
I'm questioning too. I don't know why I come on at 11 o'clock at night. I'm asleep by 9:30.
All right, this one comes from Eric in Milwaukee. Monty Ball just was named a Heisman finalist. If you had a vote for the Heisman, who would you vote for?
Me, personally, I would, I was leaning towards Trent Richardson, these last couple of weeks, but I would probably vote the Honey Badger, man. He single-handedly takes over games in situations where, his team, in a good situation where they're kind of stuck. And that last week, look at the Arkansas game, and, they're down 14-0. He breaks it open. They ultimately blow that game open. And then you look at this SEC championship game. Without this guy, I like to think that Georgia probably rolls in this game.
All right, thanks. Bill?
Yeah, I'm going with Monty Ball myself.
I'm going with him too. I played against Wisconsin. I got a lot of respect for him.
You asked my opinion and gave you my opinion.
I know. That's all right. That's all right. I just know that Monty Ball, they take him out, usually in many of the games he's out by the late third quarter, and
I know that, but
he could pad the numbers even more.
How many 1-yard rushing touchdowns does he have?
I don't know.
Probably like 30.
No. All right, we'll announce our winner of the ski package or two to Granite Peak when we come back. We'll pause here and be back with our final segment from Tanners and Kimberly after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we are back in the Huddle. Continues from Tanners and Kimberly on the Woodward Radio Network. Packers knock off the Giants 38-35. All right, let's go back, get our Granite Peak email winner. Phil, what do you got?
I think we're going to have to go with Shannon from Little Shoot, the question about the fashion, because you and I have seen Ryan Pickett almost on a weekly basis, and I had no idea of his fashion sense.
Yeah. He normally doesn't look like a real fashionable guy walking in the locker room.
No, he doesn't. So Shane will pick up the trip for 2 to Granite Peaks.
All right, good job. Thanks for the question. We'll do that again next week and give away another ski package for 2. Speaking of that, one of you guys' pet peeves have to be when you get out of the locker room or when you get out of the shower, you get dressed, now you got to talk to reporters, and on come those cameras with those heat lamps.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys, I mean, you might as well go take another shower when you're done in the interview.
Yeah, it's one of those things you get accustomed to dealing with, but it seems like every single time, like before I can even put my pants on, I'd just be people just lined up. And some people will give you the respect of, you know, I'd get you when you get dressed. Some people will just walk right up to you. Yeah. I think you do that too, Bill.
Did I really?
No, I'm just joking.
I try to.
I'm joking.
I try to wait till you put your pants. I don't want to look at you with your pants off, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I didn't think I got accustomed to the whole people walking around this naked.
All right, the Raiders are next, 7-5, tied with Denver for first in the AFC West. So they kind of, you know, they've struggled a little bit lately, but they're still right in the thick of things.
Yeah, Oakland, you know, I believe they're a good team. You know, offensively, you have a guy like Carson. You know, he's just kind of getting back into the groove of things. He's been, you know, he has an elite talent as far as a quarterback in this league for some years now, and I think they have the weapons. You know, just they're kind of an unfamiliar opponent. That's where, you know, we have to put the extra time in the film room because it's not like you see this team every year. You know, I don't know when the last time the Packers played these guys. So it'll be a tough challenge. You know, like you said, they're in the hunt for the playoffs. So it's a meaningful game to them as well as us.
Now, Carson's not a real mobile quarterback, so I would imagine, Mike, when you when you get in there to rush from the defensive end spot, you're probably thinking about getting a sack or 2 before the day's done with.
I need one bad, 2 or 3. But no, he's not very mobile. But I mean, they got a pretty decent offensive line. So.
All right, the Raiders running back Darren McFadden, he. When he was playing, he was good.
Right.
But from what I read earlier today, it doesn't look like he's still going to be back. They've kept him active, but he hasn't played like in 6 weeks, and it's probably going to be 7 this week.
Yeah, it's tough for them those guys because he was obviously a high selection, and this season he's kind of he showed people why he was taken so high when he was healthy. Like you said, he was a home run threat to say the least. But like you said, he's been hurt for the last couple of weeks, so I guess hopefully we won't see him.
All right, so it's supposed to be pretty nippy this week. I think by the weekend they say it's supposed to warm just a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit. But we're talking cold weather. We're talking near freezing temperatures. Do you guys embrace that? And you don't, huh?
No.
You don't like? You don't think there's an advantage against warm weather teams like Oakland?
To a small extent, because we practice it. We practice it during the week, like Coach McCarthy. Like he makes us go outside, for the team periods. We try everything.
Builds character,
Also builds, the colds and stuff. But that's another story. But I think Coach forcing us to go outside and practice, I think, gives us a small advantage. But at the end of the day, freezing temperatures is freezing temperatures.
Yeah. Do you practice outside for the whole practice, or you just go?
No. I think for like the team periods when we're trying to get a look on, like the scout team is showing our look of the particular team. So we'll be outside for probably like 45 minutes to an hour.
Because I know there's McCarthy was one of the guys. I know Mike Holmgren previously was like that too. They felt it was kind of counterproductive to work all the time outside,
right?
Because if you're concentrating on how cold you are, you're not concentrating on getting your work done in practice.
Yeah, Coach McCarthy sometimes will throw us a break. He'll have us inside with the doors open. So it'll still be as cold, but
that's not a break. It'd be colder inside than it do outside.
I'm joking. I mean, sometimes when you open those doors up for a half hour, it feels just like you're outside. But if you're not doing that, I mean, I guess in his eyes, I mean, if you're going to play in it, why not practice in it?
Yeah, AFC teams, uncommon opponents. How much does that kind of shake up your preparation week?
It does. I think when you don't know really how these guys are going to attack you, like it puts that much emphasis on your preparation and going back. The good thing about it now is we're into the 13th, 14th week. These guys have a lot of things on film that they've shown, and if they've played a defense similar to ours or offense similar to ours, then you're able to kind of dissect how they try to attack that team, and then I guess you can infer that that's probably going to try to attack you.
We talked a little bit about the Pro Bowl, but the voting time is coming up. Do you enjoy that part of it? Do you like?
I don't know. If you're in it, I guess you like it. Yeah. But ultimately,
you vote for yourself?
No, I don't do that.
Can you?
I don't know.
They don't.
Can you?
I don't think they.
I don't think so.
Oh, no.
Seeing what you'd say though.
All right, trying to stump me. What are you, shy?
No, but it could be a pretty good. I think fans are looking. Fans have been out. You look at the fan portion at NFL.com, and it's Packer.
That's good. That counts for something.
A lot of Packer fans around the country, and of course they're a third of the vote. So, all right, hey, we're at the end again. Mike, thanks for coming out.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Nice to have you back in the lineup, and good luck to you. And
Thank
BJ,
you.
We'll see you again next week.
All right, Bill.
Good luck this Sunday.
Thank you.
All right, BJ Raji and Mike Neal. We'll do it again next Monday night right here from Tanner's on the Woodward Radio Network.